Are you someone who wants to protect his website? Then you are on the right place. In this video, I will show you how you can secure your AWS CloudFront hosted website from cyber attacks. There are many vulnerabilities that are involved in current cybersecurity and cyber attacks. And by using the policy that we implement, it will prevent you from most of them. So it's like even if you have firewall, these vulnerability can still happen on your environment, and these policies are an add-on to your security. I will show you like what are the vulnerabilities that we are going to counter and how we are going to prevent our website from these cyber vulnerabilities. Okay. So before continuing, I just want to show you something that this is my CloudFront URL. Okay. And I'm doing a curl dash I and then URL. What this does is this shows me the response headers from my existing CloudFront URL. And we are getting few information about our CloudFront URL. You can see that this is showing that the origin is S3. So anyone can know, yes, this is coming from the origin. So like data is stored in S3 bucket, right? So any hacker could look for the vulnerabilities that are related to S3, although like they are continuously updating and making sure everything is up to date. But just I'm trying to give you an example on how vulnerabilities can be detected. And you can see miss from CloudFront. It means it was directly came from the origin. And if the cache came from any origin location or maybe any CloudFront edge location, then it will show the same thing, like it's from the CloudFront. Okay. And as you can see, it's Amazon Pop and it's from the Bombay region, and it shows the encryption and everything. Okay. What this response header shows is we haven't implemented any security implementations on our front end. Okay. So now I will show you how we can implement the policies and what are those policies and how they help us prevent certain things. You need to go to your cloud, go to policies, click on response headers. Okay. Now we will create a custom response header policy. Let's name it a response one. Okay. Now I will, it's optional, so that's totally fine. You can add the course as well. So what course does is it will make sure that only a specified domain origin can communicate with our front end. This is helpful if you have a backend running and you only want that to be someone or some domain that can access it. Usually, backend has common domain for front end and backend. Only we use slash API for the backend, and that's how it starts working. But if you are using a separate domain, in that case, you can use this as well. Okay, so this will restrict anything that does not fall inside the course policy. Now let's talk about this strict transport security. This one is a really important one. So let me first also duplicate this one. So what this strict transport security does, so by default, like if I go to my CloudFront, I have implemented the behavior that anything that comes to HTTP will be redirected to HTTPS, right? So you think yes, of course this is secure, right? So I think there's nothing to worry about. But what happens is this request from HTTP to HTTPS EPS is only converted when it reaches the server. Okay, when it reaches my CloudFront edge location, only then HTTP request will be converted to HTTPS. Okay, and before that, between browser and the edge location, it will still be unencrypted, and it will still be HTTP. Okay, so to prevent that, we add this strict transport security. We use the preload and we will include the subdomain. So any subdomains will also fall inside this when it's implemented to a specific CloudFront. Now, what will happen if we implement this? This will tell our browser that do not accept any HTTP request, only proceed with HTTPS. So request even from browser will start as a HTTPS. And this prevents us from the man in the middle attack. Someone try to grab your information in between the server and your browser. In that case, this thing prevents you from that. Okay. Now let's talk about the type content type options. So what this does is this tells my browser that do not assume that this is the right file. For example, someone has like entered specific script in the .html file format, right? Someone in the man in the middle, or someone tried to manipulate my front end, and he was able to successfully do it. Let's say, okay. In that case, what this tells is do not assume that this file, a specific file, is like, for example, do not assume it HTML. Just make sure that the specific file is related to that. So browser does not assume it, ensures that this file is the right format and it's not some script or something inside it. Okay. Now next is the X frame options. We will continue with deny here. So what this does is this tells is I cannot like someone cannot use the iframes, not do any framings from my website, my front end. Okay, so that's how it protects uh, our website from it. Haven't uh, dived deep inside it, but the higher overview is that it protects our application from iframing something. Okay. So guys, next option is cross-site scripting protection. What generally happens, cross-site scripting is a hacking attempt to insert any Java. Usually, it's a JavaScript that hackers try to insert inside the code, and that enables him to steal specific information or show specific results on specific page. So to prevent this, this policy can be enabled. You can enable this allow block, or if you want, you check like there is certain URL that is being affected or someone is trying to do it, reports can be sent to that specific URL. Okay. Okay. So for the reference policy, we can use no reference. I haven't looked into it, but the CSP policy, it's a very broad policy, and I highly recommend before implementing this one, just make sure your front end is working fine on dev environment, because it blocks a lots of things from if you implement this policy. So even even every single URL that you are using in your front end, any policy doing, for example, you have, if you have Stripe integrations, if you have YouTube URL running inside it, if there are some packages that request for libraries or anything related to that, any URL you have to specify inside this. This is a very strong and a very powerful policy, so I recommend before implementing this, just test it on your environment, and if you go to inspect, you can see like which specific thing is blocking this, and then maybe you can use ChatGPT to identify how you can add it to is it related to image SRC, content SRC, or any specific domain or subcategory of this. Okay. So for this video, I will only implement these policies. Okay. And I will click on create. Okay. Once this is created, we will go to our CloudFront. We will click behaviors, and then I will edit this one. This is my origin. Okay. And then when I will search here, I will be able to find the custom inside response header policy. Okay. CloudFront also gives you a by default security header policies. If you want to implement it, you can also do that. Okay. I will click on save changes. This has updated my this this thing added the policies to my CloudFront. Now what I will do is I will clear my edge location cache. So for this, I will use invalidation. I will create an invalidation. What this does is this clears the caches. We will wait for maybe 5 to 10 seconds and it should be done. So okay, it's done. Now we will go here. Okay. I will again do the same thing. Same URL, everything is same, and let's see the difference, right? You can see our policy, implemented policy are visible here. If you compare this from here, right? You can see the strict transport security policies enable, our content type policies enable, our X frame options are enabled, our like cross site scripting is enabled, right? So all these things are enabled for this. Okay. If I do one more time, let me show you. Okay. So for the cache, you can see this is coming from CloudFront. Okay. So these are the few of the policy that can highly and very it can really improve your front end or your static website interaction. So I'll highly recommend you implement and make sure along with your WAF or firewall, you can implement these policy as well. Okay. If you haven't watched like how you can configure the firewall, you can go check out my video. You can see this video in the top. That's how you can secure your front end website. If you have any questions regarding this, just drop a comment down below. And if you find this video helpful, just like this video and make sure you press the bell icon, subscribe and press the bell icon if you find this helpful. And just want to improve security on your AWS infrastructure, just make sure to follow us and watch our regular video. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you. Bye bye.